name is Ian Wachkevich, and this is Exhibit B, March 2024 online. This is our second and final online show of the year. Check out our website, though. We got plenty of live events coming up the rest of the year if you want to see us in person. First off, over my shoulder here, you may notice my sometimes partner. I just wanted to shout him out because he's soon to be our fearless leader. He's the incoming president of the Guild Literary Complex. So, come to our in-person shows, seek him out, shake his hand, get on his good side, you know what I'm saying. But before we continue, get into our incredible 3 readers we have for you this evening, I would like to thank the Guild Literary Complex, who's been a partner in these shows with us since the beginning. Without them, we couldn't have been putting them on for you. So first off, since 1989, the Guild Literary Complex has served the Chicago community through innovative programming. They view literature as a vehicle of connectivity and aim to merge seemingly disparate groups across Chicago's 50 wards. Thank you again to the Guild. Check out their website. They have a ton of awesome programming, hours included. So yeah, give them some love if you can. One other thing we like to do before these shows get started is a land acknowledgement statement. So if you would allow me, I would like to acknowledge the fact that we are on stolen land, the result of acts of genocide perpetrated by white settlers and the United States of America against this land's indigenous inhabitants. I recognize the complexity of myself, a non-native person, in doing so, but I do it with an open heart and as an act of solidarity. Chicago is the traditional homeland of the Council of the Three Fires, the Odawa, the Ojibwe, and the Potawatomi nations. Many other tribes like the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Sac, and Fox also called this area home. Today, Chicago is home to the 6th largest urban American Indian community that still practices their heritage, traditions, and care for the land and waterways. Chicago continues to be a place that calls many people from diverse backgrounds to live and gather here. We want to make sure that we don't make these statements just as a recognition of the history of the land we're on currently. The practices and effects of settler colonialism are not exclusive to this land, and they are unfortunately not confined to the past. It's up to us to learn from the past and confront these issues as they exist in the world around us today. Thank you, and thank you again to all of you for being here. We've got awesome readers for you coming up, so without further ado, let's get into it. First tonight, we have Summer J. Hart. Summer is an interdisciplinary artist and writer from Maine, living in the Hudson Valley, New York. She is a member of the Litsugu Mi'kmaq First Nation. Her written and visual narratives are influenced by folklore, superstition, and divination. Summer is the author of Boom House from 2023 on the Third Thing Press, and she is a 2023 NYSCA/NYFA Artist Fellow in Poetry and the recipient of the 2022 Helen Ingram Plummer Fellowship at MacDowell. Her poetry can be found in Best Small Fictions 2023, Denver Quarterly, Heavy Feather Review, the Massachusetts Review, Northern New England Review, Waxwing, and many other places. Please welcome Summer J. Hart.
Hello, welcome to my studio. Thank you, Exhibit B team, for having me on the show. It is an absolute honor to be here. I'm going to be sharing 2 related projects, a mixed media installation in progress titled Extinct Muscle Resurrection Spell, the beginning tendrils of which you can see swaying gently behind me. And I'm going to be reading poems from my new manuscript, Sky Burial. In January of 2023, I was invited by the wonderful Jennifer Calkins to participate in a transdisciplinary project titled Delisted 2023. For Delisted, artists and writers were asked to create in relationship with 32 plant and animal species proposed for removal from the endangered species list because of presumed extinction. I was paired with the yellow blossom pearly mussel. I spent months doing little more than thinking of the mussel. I'd just suddenly realize, oh, I'm thinking about the mussel again. Eventually, as all things do, the mussel started inserting itself in tiny mussel ways in my poems. In my practice, I flip between visual and written art forms. As soon as I finished Sky Burial, I started thinking of the mussel in a more physical way. and also thinking about the beauty of underwater mussel farm/forests. I learned that a trick for home mussel farming is to lay the mussel larvae, called glochidia, on a counter and to sprinkle salt on them. The glochidia who reach for the salt are considered viable for mussel rope or host fish. Materials are extremely important to me in my art making. The last project I worked on was made out of over 8,000 beads that I made from repulped paper that I salvaged from a deserted paper mill. Salt, in particular, holds many connotations beyond nutrition. Salt for luck, salt as antiseptic, salt to preserve, salt as protection, or in this case, resurrection spell. Extinct Mussel Resurrection Spell will be a 9x9 grid of 1,288 salt beads. The salt beads, I have a little one here, are from a childhood recipe for making ornaments. Just salt, water, and flour. These beads will be strung on wire ropes and hung in rows for visitors to walk through, and I'll show you the scale. Delisted 2023 asks, how do we attend to the more than human others when we encounter them at a point beyond precarity? How do we find beauty and joy? There is a childlike naivete to the idea that one could bring an animal back from extinction with flour, water, and salt. I'm old enough to know that this spell will not work, but the repetitive, ritualistic nature of this kind of art making is where I find the beauty and joy. Poems from Sky Burial. Small to medium-sized streams. We spin in our avocado green dining room, cute as a button catalog-built house with pocket doors, garter snakes in the myrtle, before sickness, before diagnosis, before... Dear boy, I don't remember the last time I picked you up. Dear, I hear this happens to all parents. I read that in an article. Yesterday, I saw a child in the coffee shop pointing at the pastry case with such fierce joy and wondered what's next for you. Too much rain or only fire, pocket, green, snake, myrtle. When the news comes, you leave the tent, sit in the mud. Smoke pours up from the stacks across the river. I've said this part before. I know, I know. I want to pick you up, swing you on my hip, rewind, 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 rewind. King salmon steams on tin trays. Moose meat marinates. The fiddleheads that were collected somewhere inland but marshy with oh so many black flies, 4 per plate, are a bit overdone. 2 boiled potatoes, 1 potato bun. The boy won't eat any of it. We walk to the powwow grounds, past the charred ruins of the cathedral where his great-great-grandmother is buried. No one cares about church anymore. One daughter said midwife, the other witch. That's what Sally said. In another time, he holds out an apple, my blonde wig, a dog on the hay bale, a hayride pumpkin patch, eagle head on a staff. The grand entry has begun. Dear boy, news passes through impossible channels. Elder, jingle, grass, mud. Unimaginable to me who carries you fleece slung snug against my body. Bodies keep wretched secrets, you know. I'm on the train, older. That also happened. Back in the village, a mom is drinking coffee. A toddler points. In my dream, the boy is in college. In my dream, I am the mud of the rain-murked river, its foul gray mouth. I'm walking along the riverway. I stop to take a picture of a yellow and black tug chugging through the grayest nothing. A lanternfly saunters along the railing. Lanternfly bodies are strewn across the path. Someone carves a portrait into a pumpkin. Matt writes about the floods, and we all feel it. We all feel the desolation of it. I show him my poem. He plays me his song. We both know when hay rots, horses go bony. I'm reading about yellow blossom pearly mussels, presumed extinct. We have not yet reported live or freshly dead individuals. I cry when I see the photograph. Cotton, red twine. Dear dead water, dear artifact. Beak, beak, tooth, tooth. No heart, no mouth, no gill, no foot. I'm reading about life-threatening rain events, about people dying in super fogs, wars, bowling alleys, strip mining, coal washing, dredging, farming, logging, roads ended them. The end. Natalie says 3 bodies, 9 more missing. Riffle and Shoal. Nobody picks apples this fall. Matt and I squabble. Apples pile up, rot under canopies, swollen with rain gurgling. Rot sinks back into the earth. This rain is relentless. Orchards stink like brown, like marsh sloshing around rushes. The train slows. A mudslide disrupts northbound service. Moss furs in violent greens across the stone's dark face. Motherfucking snakes. On the flight home, I read the poet's novel about poets fucking and going mad. I can still feel the heat of her. Dear little tongue, red as grenadine, sugar in your teacup, soot in your cream. This is the sound of a snake shedding its skin, night after night, ringing its lover's doorbell. Motherfucking snakes. When the 2 sisters accidentally marry stars, that's when I cry. Bodies burning through sky. I lift the forbidden rock, peer down at the sidewalk, take in the stomped husks of lanternflies shattered. Windshield, a penny, luckside down. The myth about the bear. When the bear folded neatly behind a rock, astral projects, collects winter berries, birch fungus, willow bark. When the gentleman with rabbit's feet trades his grandmother for an otter's pelt, to France, to France. When a wolverine freezes snout to lake, fresh out of spells, out of matches, out of sticks, out of ashes. I pick up my phone. You haven't written. I take a deep breath. This time you won't. How to prevent a house fire. Wind cords around lamps. Pull furniture away from walls. Cry just thinking about what could have happened. Unplug coffee pot. Unplug washing machine. Unplug phone. Is anyone here? Touch ever so lightly. Hover your fingers really over the planchette. In my dream, I nudge the shrimp-curved body of a cicada killer through a crack in the floor. At the barn, I find a drowned mouse in each water bucket. How to trust anything these days? No one is safe from curses or thirst. How to trust with all these spirits? Dead men left in maple sugar camps, witches with fireball eyes, lovers who are stars or snakes during the day. I read about rivers of fire that burn secretly underground for years. Psip! Vinyl siding bursts over the too close grill. Psst. That's the wedding album, melting into carpet that's melting into linoleum. Sometimes the microwave runs all night, Sally says. You must unplug it. In case of a power surge, electrical storm, cigarette butt, dead squirrel curling, iron left in the sink. If his eyes become swirling infernos, the only solution is to burn it all down. It was a ball of lightning. Came through the phone line, the sink, bathtub. Authorities say they found fresh blood on the mouth of the corpse, and the one hanging in the tree was also well fed. These are just stories. Please touch me. Where? I point to the red dot on the screen that marks the animal I've been researching newly extinct, rosy red as a shined apple's cheek. Mark me, my skin, my flesh, my poison pips. Thank you.
All right, welcome back, and thank you again to Summer J. Hart for being part of the show this evening. Please check out our chat. We'll be dropping some links in there so you can find more of Summer's work, and please give it the love it deserves. Next up this evening, we have a friend of the show, Flor Flores, who will be with us. Flor is a transdisciplinary artist and poet. Their works are proposals for queer belongings and new modes of expressing and relating to one another. Some themes and subjects in their work are flowers as a stand-in for myself, Flor. Kiki, a queer monarch butterfly that loves the discotheque. Kiki now is a framework for collaborations and also an experimental publishing project. X, an epic poem about the letter X, as in Latinx, and its other uses as a gesture of erasure, inclusion, avoidance, and as a placeholder for language that is yet to come. Flor Flores has also recently had solo exhibitions at Everybody Gallery, Chicago Artists Coalition, ADDS Donna, Bar 4000, and many others. They have been featured in reviews and publications such as Art Maze, 60 Inches from Center, New American Paintings, New City Art, Chicago Artists and Writers, and Monsters and Dust. Please welcome Flor. Take it away.
Kiki, una noche maravillosa. Story by Miguel Jimenez. Paintings, drawings, and concept by Alejandro Jimenez Flores, Florencio. Book and illustration design by Maddie Stocking. Me llamo Kiki, Kiki the dancing queen. But before I was a dancing queen, I was only a butterfly. En ese tiempo, yo sabía que no solo era mariposa. Sabía que yo era más. No sabía qué, pero sabía que quería saber. I was born alone. Maybe I should start there. I was born alone, without anyone else to see me. Just me and the trees. And that's how I lived. Not bad. Just me and this world. I knew some of the other butterflies, though not really, which is to say, I just knew myself.
But being alone has its benefits. There's a lot you see when your eyes are for no one else but the world. Streetlights never stop. They go green, yellow, and red over and over and over. Even if there are no cars or people, they want to believe someone is there.
Sundays are the worst. They are for lovers, they are for family, they are for friends, if you have them.
I repeat, Sundays are the worst.
If you listen closely, wet tires on asphalt road sound like ocean waves. The most beautiful flowers on earth are between the place they call Little Village and the place they call Lawndale, in the empty lot next to the Economy Auto Shop.
Flowers, too, can be friends.
Human beings, they never look up. They always look down, always ahead, but never up. ¿Qué les pasa?
We are never truly alone. I may only know myself, but that means I know so many Kikis. The Kikis that I've been, the Kikis that I was, and the Kikis I knew were still growing inside me, which is also to say that to not feel alone, one must continue to grow.
Everything changed when one of those Kikis was hurt. That's the other beginning of this story.
At the empty lot next to the auto shop, I covered myself with the petals of a purple flower, and I loved how they looked on me, and I wanted to take them to wear on my wings, but I couldn't. So I stayed inside the flower with its lavender light, and I closed my eyes, and I wished the color would soak into my wings. Most things we wish for are a long shot, but how nice to breathe in that. And for those few minutes, I thought the world had ended. But then the wind came again, and everything came back to life. Things ending are also things beginning. That, I think now, was a beginning. Y pensé, quiero bailar. Quiero bailar, quiero bailar, quiero bailar, quiero bailar. And I thought it until the idea of dancing lifted me away in search of somewhere to dance.
Somewhere where I could be all the Kikis. No sé si era el mareo, pero volé sin dirección, sin saber a dónde, solo saber que quería bailar.
Another thing you'll notice when you're alone is humans smell themselves. Often. Kinda gross, but I get it. They search for the oils behind their ears, the corners of themselves, as if they're reminding themselves who they are. Or maybe they lost the way to themselves. That day, I saw something else humans do. They suck on each other's people's faces. Their heads are flowers, their mouths are the centers.
I saw it happen in someone's backyard, in the place they call Brighton Park. As I was flying in search of somewhere safe to dance, I rested on a wooden fence, watching 3 people dance under the sun. They moved into each other's arms, spinning and swaying with their hands up, their mouths open to the sky like they were drinking its light. They drank from glasses too, glasses that looked like planets, a planet in a glass, a planet still, yet with pinks and oranges swirling together, swirling like feelings were moving inside me. After every taste of their drinks, the humans danced more and more, and searched for one another's mouths with their eyes closed. When they finished their drinks, they walked into their home, hand in hand in hand. I searched for the scent of that drink everywhere. Flew through the city and all its neighborhoods with all their stupid names until I finally found its fragrance coming out of a dance club called Berlin. And there, somewhere inside, was my drink and its swirling world waiting for me.
Stopping me from getting inside Berlin was a door. A door! Can you believe it? Why do doors even exist? I don't like doors, and especially didn't like doors that day. I waited outside for hours, watching from a small tree until someone approached. When they opened the door, I launched myself towards it and grabbed onto the back of the person that was walking in. But they were stopped by another person, a large one, the size of a tree trunk, who said at the entrance, asking them for things before going in. ID, the tree trunk said. And as the person looked inside their bag for those things, the tree trunk person saw me. They smiled and swung their hand at me so hard that it blew me outside. From the sidewalk, I looked up and saw the door shut.
Quiero bailar. Quiero bailar. Quiero bailar. Quiero bailar. Pensé, quiero bailar. I flew up on the Berlin sign and waited there to try again. I waited and breathed in every bit of the drink scent that came out from the edge of the door. At night, a group of humans walked to the door, and as soon as it opened, I got in. And there I was inside of Berlin, in the darkness broken by lights, so many lights, blue and purple and red and pinks and all the different colors I've always wanted to be.
How did I get in so easily? I flew through the top of the door. Humans, they never look up.
A partir de ese momento, todo está un poco borroso, pero lo más bonito está muy claro. Lo bonito siempre queda claro. They call it Aperol Spritz. They call it house. They call it cumbia. They call it reggaeton. They call it Afrobeat. They call it disco. As soon as I got inside, the heavy music moved me like wind. It bumped me around until I ran into my reflection on a mirrored wall. And there, holding onto the glass, I saw myself covered in the changing lights. Red, then yellow, then blue, then green, then purple, then pink. Qué bonito verse cambiar, I thought.
And I let go of the wall, but the music knocked me around, side to side. Next thing I remember, I woke up cupped in a person's hand, with the sound of music and voices on top of voices. Before that, I never felt someone else's hand, but I wasn't scared. A person's hand, can be a flower. The person leaned in, their nose almost touching me, and said, "She's stunning." And others gathered around and said more sweet things. "Give her something to drink," someone said. They called it Aperol Spritz and gave me a drop of it. Just that drop got me flying and flying again, and I flew to the edge of the glass that human held and watched its pink and orange world as I drank it in. "Oh, she likes a little Aperol Spritz," the human said.
I did. I loved it. It made wings grow inside me, and they lifted me, and the music moved me, and I moved with it. And I danced and danced and danced, and I flew up to a ball of little mirrors where I saw myself 100 times, 100 parts of me, and 100 and more Kikis, and all of them dance, and all of them shine bright, so bright.
Y
Y
pensé,
pensé,
estoy bailando. Estoy bailando.
bailando.
Estoy bailando.
Baile, baile,
Baile,
baile.
baile,
And
baile.
everyone looked up at me at the mirrored ball, their arms raised, and they sang to me. "See that girl, watch that scene, Kiki the dancing queen. Kiki the dancing queen." Kiki the dancing queen, Kiki the dancing queen, Kiki the dancing queen,
And
and
we
we
danced all night
danced
into
all
Sunday.
night into Sunday,
Sunday and
and I wasn't alone.
Wasn't alone.
Sunday and it wasn't so bad.
Sunday and
Sunday
it wasn't
and
so
I felt
bad.
so alive.
Sunday and I felt so alive. ¡Kikiriki! Dijo el gallo cuando Kiki pasaba por el tejabán, y ella, agradecida, le mandó un wink. Así de feliz se sentía Kiki después de esa noche maravillosa, saliendo de la discoteca Kiki la Dancing Queen. Ese domingo era especial, alegre. What is Kiki? ¿Quién es Kiki? Kiki is a very special butterfly. Oh, why? Because she's constantly changing, becoming, transforming, and what moves? Fabulosa. And let me tell you, some butterflies never change. After a wonderful night, flashback. Kiki the dancing queen. She feels very happy and a bit hungover, to be honest. Full of gratitude, she would like to acknowledge its fabric, what it constitutes, her makeup. Kiki is a few lines grinned by Alejandro in a bar after dancing, after last call at Danny's bar 2 years ago. Una noche maravillosa. And I, Florencio, borrowed that note. Alejandro also lets me borrow their body. They love getting lost. And with such dexterity, I made the paintings that you're about to see. Kiki's a score with writing prompts I grew from Miguel after drinking 2 to 3 glasses of sparkling orange wine. Pew, plop. Tú siempre en mi mente. Wink. Kiki. It's a lovely story Miguel wrote. Did you cry? I certainly did. Kiki is a book world crafted by Maddie. Que bonito. Kiki is a backyard gathering in which we conspire to make Kiki world. Jungle Kiki is a cocktail that Alejandro made for Maddie and Miguel, and the Aperol Spritz and the Esquites Maddie made, a playlist playing in the background, laughs of creation and friendship. Kiki's a painting Florencio makes. Kiki's a feeling brown, feeling down, feeling bliss, golosa, gozándolo. Una hoja de arrabal. Kiki is a poem given the chance. XO, Florencio.
All right, welcome back, and thank you again to Flor for being part of our show this evening. Like I said with Summer, please check our chat below for any links. We'll be dropping some into the rest of Flor's work. Please check it out. All awesome. And thank you again so much for being part of the show with our other great readers this evening. And then finally tonight, we're going to have a reading from Anna Portnoy Brimmer. Anna is a poet and freelance translator from Puerto Rico. She holds a BA and MA in English Literature from University of Puerto Rico and is an alumna of the MFA program in Creative Writing at Rutgers University, Newark. To Love an Island, her debut poetry collection, was originally the winner of Yes Yes Books' 2019 Vinyl 45 Chapbook Contest. Que Tiemble, a derivative work in Spanish, was published with La Impresora in 2023, and Anna was awarded a 2023 Mass Mocha Fellowship for Artists from Puerto Rico, as well as being named one of Poets and Writers' 2021 debut poets. Her work has been published in the Paris Review, Prairie Schooner, Southeast Review, Society in Space, Sixth Finch, Foundry Journal, Essex Salon, The Breakbeat Poets Volume 4, Latinx, Aftershocks of Disaster, Puerto Rico Before and After the Storm, among many others. Anna is the daughter of Mexican Jewish immigrants and resides in Puerto Rico and finds hope in the poetics of dance parties and revolution. Sounds awesome. Anna, take it away.
Hola, hola. My name is Anna Portnoy Brimmer. I'm a poet and translator, and I'm really grateful and excited to be a part of this month's Exhibit B's online reading and performance. I'm from and based in Puerto Rico, currently living in Luquillo, which is on the east side of the island. And it's likely that you're hearing a steady churning sound in the background. Fear not, that is the Atlantic Ocean and this month's strong surge. It'll be accompanying me during my reading, for better or for worse in terms of sound quality. I'm going to start my poetry reading with a poem by the Palestinian poet Mossab Abu Toha, affirming now and always that Palestine and Puerto Rico will be free. The poem is called On Gaza Seashore. I convince myself that a palm tree never bends, nor do its dates rot. I imagine the sky only occupied by birds and swollen clouds. I walk alone along the beach and never fear getting drenched by the cold, silent waves. Should you find me asleep, be sure I am either dreaming of roses and doves or staring into the void beneath me. I will dress in my rosy suit and walk to the port, even though I know no ship is arriving. My hope is that you will come flying to me on your tireless wings. I will collect seashells and pebbles to build a house for us on the beach until you come. I don't know how many houses I will have built before you come. I am afraid I will rebuild Gaza by then. This is from Mossab's book, Things You May Find Hidden in My Ear. And I will now be reading a poem from my book, To Love an Island, published with Yes Yes Books. And the way I'm going to be doing the following two poems in my reading is I'm going to be reading it in English, and then I'm going to follow it with the version in Spanish from my book, Que Tiemble, which was published with La Impresora, a local independent and grassroots press here in Puerto Rico. This first poem from the book To Love an Island is the title poem called To Love an Island. To love an island is lips between legs, crunch of sand under your tongue in the hollow between teeth, is salty dew beneath sheets, above the lip, seaweed silhouette of your body, is blue tarps over your fucking, mosquitoes lodged behind your knees, is candlelight, wax intimacy and blister, the stamina of a switch short circuits under your thrusting hurricane, is suited brush of mouths, dust down your river throat to your superfund womb, is anchors from U.S. boats run by a U.S. crew with a U.S. flag built in a U.S. shipyard, fastened to keep from drifting, from being island, the patchwork of decades-old wounds soon shut with twigs and coconut fiber. Is 2 a.m. deep in night terrors, blotting sweat and pus, tissues rank with disaster, a kiss on the forehead every evening, is a growing distance, a foot caught in barbed wire, propiedad privada on your bedroom door, is leaving, is never learning how to swim, knowing that it ends with drowning. I am going to read the version in Spanish now from my book Que Tiemble, and it's called Amar una isla. Amar una isla es labios entre las piernas, crujido de arena bajo tu lengua, en el hueco entre los dientes. Es rocío de mar bajo sábanas, encima del labio, silueta de alga de tu cuerpo. Es toldos azules sobre tu bellaquera, mosquitos aplastados detrás de tus rodillas. Es luz, candela, intimidad de cera y ampolla, el aguante de un switch cortocircuita bajo tu bella crisis huracanada. Es beso de ceniza, polvo bajando el río de tu garganta a tu útero superfondo. Es anclas de barcos estadounidenses manejados por una tripulación estadounidense con una bandera estadounidense, construidos en un astillero estadounidense, estar atada para evitar la deriva, para evitar ser isla. Es el retazo de décadas de heridas cosidas con ramitas y fibra de coco. Es 2 de la madrugada, terrores nocturnos, limpiando sudor y pus, pañuelos rancios con desastre, un beso en la frente cada noche. Es una distancia creciente, un pie atorado en alambre de púa, propiedad privada en la puerta de tu cuarto. Es irse, es nunca aprender a nadar a sabiendas que culmina en ahogo. I want to invite folks to just take a deep breath with me. If you're listening sort of to the background noise, that is the ocean. I hope it sounds as soothing as it does here. And my next poem is called Forgive Me When I Speak of Land. Forgive me if when I speak of myself, I speak of land. If the mountain of my name earth falls at the question. If to the question's insistence my response boards a boat and travels south. If in this traveling south you are disappointed by the distance, my wavering silhouette. If the distance returns me to island, if at island I ask you to dock in the harbor between the first 2 letters. If in this docking I ask you to look at the eye from overhead, the way you would look at fish. Look at how it floats on the white of the page, waterlocked. If the eye waterlocks in the looking, if in the looking I ask if I is not island, if I am not island. If after asking I tell you I'm invoked by the word, the tender lean of the letter into adjacent topography, its intimate shrouding, touching strip of soil. If the intimate conceivement of self is to call upon a history of place, summon the spirit of home. If when I write a poem, every poem I write is home. If when I write this poem, I ask you to forgive me for the earth tumbling out of my mouth. I'm not going to read the version in Spanish, and it is called Perdona si es tierra lo que hablo. Perdona si cuando hablo de mí es tierra lo que contesto. Si la montaña de mi nombre se erosiona ante tu pregunta, si ante tu pregunta mi respuesta aborda un barco y viaja al sur, si en este viaje al sur te decepciona la distancia, mi silueta vacilante, si la distancia me regresa a isla, si en esta isla te pido que atraques en el puerto entre las primeras 2 letras, si en este atraco te pido que mires la I desde arriba, tal como mirarías un pez. Mira cómo flota en el blanco de la página, cercada por agua. Si al mirar el ojo se cerca de agua, si al mirar sucede que la I es isla, sucede que yo soy isla. Si tras suceder te cuento que la palabra me invoca, tierna inclinación de letra en topografía yacente, sombra íntima sobre franja aledaña de tierra. Si concebir de una misma implica resucitar la historia de un territorio, invocar el espíritu de la matria. Si cuando escribo un poema, cada poema que escribo es la matria. Si cuando escribo este poema, te pido que me perdones por la tierra desprendiéndose de mi boca. And I'm going to close my reading with this poem, which is newer. It's not part of any of my books yet. It's called Queridísima Ana, and it's after Aga Shahid Ali's poem, Dear Shahid. I really suggest folks look it up and read Aga Shahid Ali's poem. Queridísima Ana, I'm writing to you from your far-off island, far even from us who remain here. You've been gone for many years now. I still carry a bat in the passenger seat of my car. I never wait for the police. Food rots on its way to us in this town. Most buildings are abandoned and declared public nuisances. Fishermen have deserted their trade. The coast is ripe with almond trees and private security, and the mansions dump their sewage into the sea. Children learn math under pink trumpet trees and English in shipping containers. Nurses keep going on strike. The hospitals run on generators, and the government has closed so many schools. With their bare hands, they tear the country to pieces for bondholders and billionaires. This month, 4 other women have been killed. 4 other women. The newspapers left out their names, but not the carnage. Yesterday, someone asked the local astrologist about their ex-lover and Puerto Rico's future. She pointed to the planets and advised on the importance of letting go. I've developed a taste for epistolary, what with the power outages and all. I'll be posting this letter tomorrow before the next hurricane reaches our waters. These days, it's so hot, one can't even manage to wear skin. Today, I drove to the west side of the island where your parents used to live. The house is mostly overtaken by termites and Hawaiian pothos. By chance, looking down, I saw the head of a yellow walking iris. I remembered you like those, the tattoo on the back of your neck, so I'm enclosing it with this letter. I hope it reminds you of the happiness you once longed for here. Things are as usual, I'm afraid. What you fear has materialized. It's all become normal. I know it aches to return, but I still wait for you. With a bed to share and the stray cats, for those days when dignity hung plump from the trees and we belonged to ourselves. Those days you used to write of in poems. Thank you so much again to the Exhibit B team for having me be a part of this reading. Buenas noches a todos.
All right, thank you again to Anna Portnoy Brimmer for being part of this awesome show tonight. Thank you again to Flor Flores as well as Summer J. Hart for being here as well. Like we said, the other times there are many links for you to peruse tonight after the show is over. Find more of their work, read more of their work, tell them you loved it. And thank you to all of you for being here once more. Thank you to the Guild Literary Complex for helping us put these shows on and for helping us put the rest of this year's shows on. You can always find where we are on our website. We got a bunch of stuff coming up this year, but I believe our next in-person show is at the end of May back at Pilsen Community Books. If you're in Chicago, check it out. They have a ton of awesome events there, including ours, so give them some love as well. And until then, me and Jim here say thank you one more time for being a part of this evening with us, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.